Adam J live from historic downtown Herndon, Green Brilliant Studios. Green Brilliant Studios. It is a amazing cloudy day. The utility company is picketing our windows as we speak. How's everybody doing? Enphase, the largest solar manufacturer in the country, is here with us today. How we doing, guys? How was the flight? Eric, Nitish, how was the flight?
Excellent. We had a good trip from California all the way to D.C., so we had a lot of fun. It's a long flight.
Well, you're jet lagged too, then?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
We're 3 hours behind you.
And you got 2 kids?
I have 3 kids.
You have 3 kids.
Yeah, and I came
that one
from South Carolina, so easy flight, uneventful, which is
There's no
how we
easy
like
flights.
it.
We're going to get into that in a second. No, talk to me about the flight. I'm curious.
It was fine. Yeah, as I said, it was an uneventful flight, little turbulence, but I'm here and excited to be so.
Eric, Nitish, did I get it? Nitish?
You absolutely got it. Yeah.
Talk to me. What do you guys do for Enphase? Please. Please start. Let's go.
I'm the Senior Vice President of Customer Experience at Enphase.
Scared.
No, it's all good. So I manage the global service organization. I have customer service. I have field service. We started a data analytics and data science team now. We're doing a lot of work in AI and machine learning, building algorithms, developing solutions where we could do a lot of preventive maintenance work. So that entire yes, it's very exciting. We can talk more about it, but that is part of my charter at Enphase.
So you're already smarter than me. I've acknowledged that. Eric.
Yeah, I'm the sales director for the Eastern United States and Latin America. So my team manages our installer partnerships.
I didn't know that. I'm going to pretend I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It is good to see you.
It's great to see you too.
We talked on the phone over 22 hours. I actually took a look and I actually almost erased it before my wife got the phone. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But look, guys, in all seriousness, we are here today to send one message, and that message is very simple. The inverter matters. More so, the inverter matters to the homeowner. More specifically, the inverter company matters. Okay? So today, we're going to talk a little bit about inverter basics. I'd like to cover what I call your entire product suite. Okay? And we'll get to that. And throughout this, homeowners that are thinking about going solar are going to understand the value in trust, loyalty, reliability, and why the inverter company matters. All right. So brass tacks here. We have an engineering floor at Green Brilliance, and at the end of the day, almost everybody is smarter than me. So I'm sitting down and I'm talking with Anmol. All right. Anmol is our head field engineer. This guy, I thought he was an electrician for a little while, for my first 2 months with the company, and then I learned, no, he's just got a lot more degrees than really I was even capable of pronouncing. And at the end of the day, I went on more, all right, so Enphase is flying in. I don't really prep for shows, but I don't know, they want something in writing, so I got to send them something. What are the homeowners going to be interested in? What should we talk about? And Inverter Basics didn't come out, and your IQ series, which we'll get to, didn't come out, but there was 2 things throughout the conversation, and throughout he does love these little pastries, penne, these little balls, and his mom sends them from back home over the winter, and as he feeds them to me, I get more energized. It's almost like there's a lot of sugar in them. If there are, don't tell me. I'm not looking because he says there's none. But throughout this conversation, I'm like, okay, all right, so. And Maul goes, Adam, the bi-directional car charger. Okay, that's fluff. I'm like, no, look at it. Okay, all right. And Adam, Enlighten, their product suite. It's actually pretty cool. I'm like, are we talking like an app or are we just looking to it? Appreciate the engineering help on Maul, but he was right. And I got to be honest, okay, once I dug fairly deep into your product line, that's when I started to pay attention. And I also realized that I needed a Venn diagram, kind of like I was trying to structure and organize a mafioso crime family, okay? But I put it on a whiteboard. I got everything in line. and then it made sense. And once it made sense to me, I knew it would make sense to the homeowners. So with that said, okay, let's dig right in. This was originally going to be, literally, I was just going to redraw the whiteboard, and then we were going to have one of your representatives, without knowing, kind of help point some stuff out. And yesterday, it just didn't work on set. That's fine. So luckily, it's in my head, and I think hopefully it's in both of your minds here. So let's start right up, and it'll be on the screen, okay? But let's start right with the IQ microinverters, okay? Now, I have noticed we've got like an IQ. Like, am I in Mac world? I have an ID4. And that's awesome. And so we'll get into that. And this is for anyone. Like, I really want to dig in. What is the true difference between a traditional solar system with an inverter versus a solar system with a microinverter? To my knowledge, Enphase is one of the only ones doing that today.
Yeah, let me get into details, but from a very high perspective,
sure,
right? A Enphase microinverter is on the roof. It's sitting behind the panel. It takes the DC voltage from the panel, smartly converts it to AC voltage.
Okay, so hold on. So we've got DC.
Correct. Going into the microinverter.
From the sun.
From the sun.
Gets us paid and makes homeowners happy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And the microinverter, since it's sitting right behind the panel, immediately converts it to AC current.
Which is usable?
Which is usable to power the home.
Like a toaster.
Like a toaster.
Okay.
But the most important thing is you don't have DC current running on your roof. That fundamentally is the biggest difference between an AC microinverter on the roof versus a regular solar system where the inverter is perhaps in your garage,
sure,
in your backyard, and a back wall.
It's just a box.
But it's just a box, right? But it has DC coming into the inverter, over the homeowner's roof, along the side of the wall, getting into the inverter. And think of all that exposure. And it's just not Enphase because we make microinverters. It's talk to the firemen, talk to anybody. They would tell you that having DC on your roof is not a great idea. It's a big safety issue.
Okay.
Fundamentally, for us, that's the biggest driving point of why we believe in the microinverter architecture. We just want to make it safe for homeowners.
Okay. Safe. So far, I'm sold. Let's pretend like that's my house behind the picket line.
Yep,
okay?
you bet.
I'm already I'm on the microinverter bandwagon here. What are some of the other advantages?
Absolutely. So we started with safety. The next biggest thing is just the fact that it's a distributed architecture. Now, that's a fancy word for I have 20 microinverters on my roof versus a single inverter in my backyard. What that means is, for some reason, and by the way, our micros are one of the safest and most reliable, but let's say one of them does break down.
Is that true? Safest and most reliable?
Yes.
I mean, you gotta chime in a little bit, man. Come on, just interrupt.
Hey, he's on it.
I do it all the time.
He's on a roll.
I'm just so passionate about this.
No, this is good. This is good. One of the safest.
It's the most reliable. But let's say one of them does break down, right? It's 1 out of 20 that you've lost power, right? But if your string inverter breaks down, because all these DC panels are now connected to one string inverter, if that inverter goes down, could be a day, could be a week, could be months, depending on what type you have and who you work with, your entire system is down. You have zero production for that entire duration, whereas with Enphase, it's 1 out of 20 loss of power, right?
So it's a single point of failure.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So what we call it, and what I'm leading to is exactly what you said. There is no single point of failure for Enphase. An Enphase system doesn't have one. And that's the beauty of the microinverter architecture.
Well, and honestly, I did some research like yesterday, okay? And, honestly, yesterday, Eric, and I was calling a few clients, and we'll get to one of them in a little bit, but at the end of the day, I was really doing some research, and I was going, so-and-so, why did you choose SolarEdge? So-and-so, why did you choose Enphase? And at the end of the day, I nobody really got that. I would say about 10% got that, and that's something that we as a solar organization, we as solar partners, we really need to emphasize here. Okay, safety, reliability. I mean, the reliability is in single point of failure. Okay, there's none. So amazing. All right. So at the end of the day, let's move on to what I like to just call the combiner box. Okay. It's the IQ combiner box. Is that, Eric?
It's true.
Is that true?
Yeah, IQ combiner. Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of technicalities involved in this combiner box, but there's also something that's really got my attention. Let's talk about the technicalities real quick. We can dumb it down for me, okay, and then we'll get into maybe the Envoy. All right.
Sure. Yeah, the combiner box generally is going to be installed outside on the home. It could be installed in the garage. And most importantly, the combiner box contains our IQ gateway. The IQ gateway is our communications device. So it's not related to production, but it is related to allowing the microinverters to collecting that data and then exporting that production data, consumption data to the cloud so that our installer partners, us at Enphase, and our homeowners can see what the system is doing. And so
I heard cloud. This is good.
Yep. So fundamentally, that's why the combiner box is installed.
Okay.
And you're also, from an electrical perspective, you're landing the PV circuits.
There's only a certain amount that can.
Yep, into that combiner box, and so that's why that device is part of our architecture.
So the Envoy is within the combiner box. Am I wrong?
Yes. Yeah. We call it the IQ gateway.
We're back to IQs. Okay.
Yeah, the IQ gateway.
I like that. All right. Now that IQ gateway, we're talking about the cloud, and I'm thinking, is it raining? And okay, well, I'm old, just old. At the end of the day, alerts. So I'm imagining right now that gateway, the IQ gateway, all right, it does a lot. All right, it lets you pull some stuff up on your phone and check your system out, know what's going on, expand, talk to me.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So like Eric said, the gateway is kind of the brain of the system. So it's getting, now each of the microinverters that I didn't talk about earlier have what we call an ASIC. It's a chip. So it's a mini computer that's behind each panel.
Okay.
That computer is constantly generating data. That data flows through the wires. We call it power line communication. So the data is flowing onto the power lines into the combiner, and in that, the gateway. The gateway takes that data, it's got another microprocessor in it, and pushes it to the cloud, which is our cloud database. And therefore, when a homeowner opens the app, they can see all the data, everything they want to know about the system is readily available. That's where alerts play a role.
And you said it again, alerts. I brought it up on purpose, obviously. Eric, this one is for you.
Yep.
Why am I talking about alerts?
Yeah, actually, Adam, I mean, as you said, we've talked about 20 times. And when we first met...
For over 22 hours.
Yes, yes. When we first met, it was actually due to a homeowner escalation that you brought to our sales team because that homeowner was unhappy with the alert systems he got through our platform, which, by the way, we call Enlighten. So the monitoring platform that the IQ Gateway exports to is called Enlighten. So the homeowner has Enlighten access. That's our portal, our web portal.
Yeah, I'm a homeowner, and I, no matter what, I'm seeing this.
Yeah, and so, over time, because, we've become more and more software defined, as Nitish talked to when he was talking about the ASICs. And, this particular homeowner wasn't satisfied with how our software platform was set up to alert him if something went wrong. And when we say alert, could be a text alert. And
like, what is it? I mean, like, is it with a baseball bat? I mean, what's this?
Yeah, those kinds of things. And so his problem really was more about our product roadmap, our software roadmap.
Sure. I remember him.
Yeah, than anything
Smart
else.
Man.
And, one thing we haven't touched on yet, and I think it's great that Nitish is here to kind of elaborate further, is beyond kind of our microinverter architecture, which distinguishes us from the competition, it's also our laser focus on quality, having an extremely low failure rate, industry-leading failure rates, and a laser focus on customer service and the homeowner and our installer partners.
There we go.
That is what distinguishes Enphase from all the other microinverter companies and all the other companies, inverter companies in our industry. And so as part of that, when we get feedback from our installer partners, which again, my team manages in this part of the country, we take that really, really seriously. And because ultimately, our installer partners are the ones who give us feedback on how we can improve. And in this instance, with your particular homeowner, we got on the phone with them, me personally, along with you. We kind of heard him out. And once we understood the recommendations he had to improve our alert system for Enlighten, we set up a meeting with our product group who actually builds, those software systems, and allowed him to provide direct feedback to them. They onboarded that, and as a result, we actually improved our notification system for all homeowners in the country. And so I think that example is really illustrative of Enphase's DNA, our laser focus on our installer partners, how we can help them, and how we can help our mutual homeowners. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here today, I think.
It's actually, so I'm glad, and I'm going to bring you in this in a second. There is and we don't really do props on this, okay? But there's a stack right next to you. Bring that up, please. And open it up, please.
Yeah. I don't know what's in this, by the way.
It's not a Jack in the Box, okay? So you don't need to go line by line, but that's a packet of emails for just the last 3 months.
Yeah,
okay?
I see my name on here.
My name's on there as well.
Yep.
Okay, that alone is dedication. Enphase has not stopped working with this homeowner. The last one was from last week. Yep. Your communication was last week, to my knowledge, unless again you started talking again. But at the end of the day, that's dedication. So, and I love how you slam that on the desk because it makes this awesome sound that the camera hates, and I'm just going to keep doing it. Yeah. No, seriously. So, what do you think of your boy?
Awesome. We really, this is the kind of passion and dedication that we want to see from our team. And you'll see this in every Enphase employee. We really care about this stuff. This is not just a job we do to earn money. We're passionate about the technology. We're passionate about making it right for the customer, right from our CEO down to every person we talk to who's interacting with the customer. And so it's amazing to see this. And, I really appreciate what Green Brilliance did here, right? You guys were on it. You were also interacting with the customer. You made sure that vendors like us fix problems with our product or make improvements to whatever needs to be done. And we really appreciate that. That's exactly how we want to work in this industry.
Well, from my understanding, we're a team.
Yeah, and that's absolutely. We absolutely are.
The whole motivation is to take care of the homeowner. Okay?
100%.
So the sun, to my knowledge, is not going to stop producing. Green Brilliance is not going to stop producing. Enphase is not going to stop producing. Okay? So the byproduct of that is simply success. Wow. All right. Got a little deep for a quick second, but at the end of the day, did anybody see that eclipse on last Monday? I know you've been traveling, you've been driving. This is in all sincerity, I need to get this out. Did anybody see it? I actually did not. I had a flood.
I saw it from my plane. So I was on a plane. I was flying in from San Francisco to Raleigh, and I actually crossed. And the pilot kind of informed us that, hey, if you look on the right side, you can see the eclipse. And so I did get a peek at it. But the most exciting part was we have a Facebook users group that we don't endorse. I mean, we're not part of it.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, but it's on Facebook, and I'm a member because I like to get feedback from customers and look at problems. And they had people posting pictures of their Enphase system, and you could actually see the dip in power production. And you could see that a person in California had a different dip than a person in Dallas. That was just incredible how it looked. Yeah, it was amazing.
So again, I'll get away from the technical just for a second.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted to hit on. Eric, Just so you know, I was doing some research during our 3-level flood. It was the second one in the week. The first one hit us on Easter, and I think they just like to hit us on Sundays, and it is what it is. So on Monday, we're dealing with the flood, my wife and I, and 5 plumbers and X, Y, and Z. It just is what it is. And then I'm just kind of going, all right, why is everybody teaming me, messaging me about this eclipse? You got to wear special glasses. You got to do this. You got to do that. And as I'm coming across, I'm seeing moon pies, sun chips. I think Smoothie King has their own like beverage dedicated to this now. I'm not going to get into the blue moon parties, okay? But like this was a whole ordeal. Basically, what I'm getting to is, yeah, like what did you guys see? Production dips, alerts, like. Was that the end of it, or the next day the clips, were done and everybody's back on board, or was it a hectic day at the control center?
It was not a hectic day. I think people understood what was going on and why production was down. I mean, I think our homeowners are pretty smart people. I mean, they look at the app, they have a lot of questions about the app, they have feedback, which you just shared with us. So we didn't get a lot of phone calls about it. It was more the excitement.
Yeah.
And that's basically because we have this awesome app that shows you per panel and it shows you production every 15 minutes. People were seeing those dips during the eclipse and they were showing off to each other about who had the biggest dip because, hey, I got to see the full eclipse, right?
Seriously? Is that what was going on? Did your kids watch the eclipse? Did they have their glasses on?
They did, yeah. I had to scramble day of to find glasses. I went to
it was on. It was like selling for $20, like last minute.
Yep. Yeah, we only had a 70% eclipse where I live, and so I didn't even really think to
do anything.
And that day of, my kids were home from spring break, and I had to go to like 3 gas stations and 2 eyeglass stores to find the glasses, but I got them and they saw it, and it was hopefully a memorable moment for them.
Letitia, your father?
I am. I have 2 boys.
2 boys? Yeah. What were they doing on the eclipse?
Well, one of them was in college, so probably in a class somewhere.
Probably, or maybe, or hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully. All right.
But the other one did have an event in school, so they had their glasses on, and they did look at the eclipse. It was interesting.
All right. Again, the blue moon parties. I didn't go to one. I'm just saying, All right, back to business. So let's now focus the I to the IQ. See, I'm like I go focus to the I. It's this IQ, guys. To the IQ controller. All right. Now, the IQ controller, is this mandatory? Is this mandatory for a home, or is this?
So the IQ controller is, think of it as a switch.
Okay.
All right. And the way it works is that if you want your home to be backed up when there's a power outage from your utility, then you do need your system to switch off from the grid and to the battery.
Oh.
That's what the switch is all about. It's extremely smart. It detects that the grid is down and would tell the battery, hey, you guys need to start pushing charge to the home.
Right.
And so that's the system.
So that's the key that really makes that battery work for all of our off-grid clientele.
Correct.
And there is, I mean, you probably have fielded some of these phone calls. There's a definition. Definitions vary by truly off-grid, okay? I hear... I'm supposed to work for 24 hours. Like, I'm supposed to just be completely, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I don't need the utility company anymore. Why is this not off-grid? What is going on? What is the difference between a IQ battery, which I would assume can have the capabilities of being what I call a partial and a full off-grid, and then maybe kind of talk about the differences of what really off-grid is?
Yeah, so there are 3 modes that we talk about, right? One is what we call the grid-tied mode. Now, the grid-tied mode is where you're simply playing arbitrage. So if the tariffs during the evenings are high, I have a battery, and I'm going to run off my battery.
Okay.
Now I'm going to run it all night. Next morning, PV comes in, charges my battery, and basically I avoid the high tariffs. I do not have backup with that system. It is just a battery only.
Okay.
Now I add a system controller. I get the backup capability, which means I do play the same arbitrage with tariffs, but now if the grid is out, I do get backup. My batteries will
starting to feel better,
right?
Okay.
Now the third one is the most awesome one, which is completely off grid.
Yes.
Which means there are again 2 modes. I'm a homeowner who just doesn't like to touch the utility. I don't want any electrons
Okay,
coming
let's
from
just
the utility.
I have a huge castle I decided to just build on a mountain. Like, you guys ever see those shows? Like, literally, they just randomly just do that, and I don't know how they get them on the mountain, but that's another story. Okay,
Right. So one is where I'm a homeowner and I don't want anything to do with the utility. I just want to run my system, and that's okay too. You can flip the utility switch, and you can completely run off grid. But in an emergency, you don't want the grid for some reason. You can turn it back on.
And so turn it back on, turn it back off. Like, Eric, like, I'm the homeowner. Is this like on a phone?
On the phone.
I got my hand out and hoping, or it's just weird.
Absolutely. But yeah, we could do it on the phone, or you could have a main switch. It just depends. But we allow the capability to do it.
No, I actually like Google. In school, you're encouraged not to use it, but I love it. And so I was Googling. Generators. Generators kind of come into this off-grid policy.
So now,
you know where I'm going.
You bet. So now you're talking about a completely off-grid system, cabin in the woods, right? Has no utility. Will never get a utility.
I'm on a castle.
Yeah,
and on a mountain.
And our systems, what we found is a lot of our customers have started building products like that, building systems like that. Now, the challenge with those is if you discharge the battery completely, you need a mechanism, external mechanism, to just recharge them if need be.
Sure.
Yes, and that's where the generator comes into the picture.
Okay.
So our system controllers have a generator input, and the minute you configure your generator to our system, to our Enphase system, now you have a fully functional off-grid system.
Do you guys make the generator?
No.
So you're just generator friendly?
Yeah, we are generator capable. Yes.
That's not a total monopoly. Not yet.
Absolutely not. No. I mean, we work with a lot of generators, and we've seen systems designed.
So hypothetically, let's say I would want to use that generator for a little while off the grid when we're out of power outage just to charge the battery. Would that be possible? And then I could basically just extend the life. Do you see where I'm going with this? Kind of milking everything as much as I
correct.
could.
You could do that, but what I would recommend is, because our batteries are 15 years warranty.
Okay.
Lifetime, right? I mean, lifetime could be higher.
Eric? Yeah.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah. So
Validation.
Yep.
so you could basically just run off your batteries.
Nice.
The generator, in my mind, generators just as a backup.
Sure. For
Case of emergency
people like
use,
me on a mountain.
Yeah, for emergency use only.
This is amazing, and then I wanted to talk about really the last product, which is my eyes almost lit up, which is what I thought was fluff, and truly it wasn't. Your bidirectional car charger. I like probably 80% of people now are just going like, I just don't want to pay gas, and we've got EVs. Okay, so at the end of the day, like, why would this benefit me, Eric? I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming bidirectional car charger. During the break, we were having a little back and forth conversation. Okay, I heard the word storm guard, and honestly, let's explore these cultures, these philosophies a little bit. So let's start with the upcoming bidirectional car charger. Okay, I mean, what is it? What is it doing? Why is it even being developed? And
Sure.
I think it's IQ as well, right? Everything is IQ.
Yeah, so I'll start with the product we have out today, which is called the IQ EV charger.
Nice.
And the IQ EV charger is exactly what it sounds like. It's an EV charger. There's multiple variations depending on the type of charger, the power that you're looking for in your car charger. What's really cool about that product is just like our microinverters and our battery storage systems, it integrates with our software platform. So a homeowner who goes into Enlighten and wants to look at their PV production, look at their consumption, monitor their batteries, they can also see what the EV's doing, right? So if the EV's charging, they can use green charging so that the EV's only charging from leftover electrons that aren't being used from the house, from the solar system.
That just sounds cool.
It's very, very cool.
All right.
And it really speaks to what Enphase is, which is a systems company.
Mm-hmm.
We have batteries, we have EV chargers, we have the microinverters, and all of that the homeowner can look at and see on their app. So the EV charger that we have today is really, I think, one of the newer additions to that system's infrastructure.
Put something up on the screen. This is good.
But it's not today. It doesn't. It's one way.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's not bi-directional, meaning that what it will not do is allow a homeowner to plug in their EV and run loads from their house in the event of a grid outage. Okay. So that product is forthcoming, and that's what it will allow to do, which is very, very exciting.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was like ready now, and it's not, but that's okay. And maybe we can. Yeah, is it coming out soon? Are you allowed to?
It will be there.
That?
Yeah,
I mean, this is your boss, but at the end of the day, we're all a team here.
We're looking at sometime next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you made a point during the break with this bi-directional EV charger, because I think it does have the ability to kind of power your home at certain points in time if need be.
If needed, yeah.
But the flip side.
Yeah, exactly. So the background of the story is I was talking to installers in Florida, right?
Okay.
And I was talking about the hurricane and how it
down there.
Yeah, and how it impacted them. And there's a philosophy question, and the question really is: would you power your home with your car in the middle of a hurricane, or would you rather have your car fully charged up and ready to take you to where you need to be because the situation is getting for the worse? Right,
Costco.
Right, and yeah, so someplace safe, right?
Costco.
And at that point is the installer told me that his homeowners would rather have the EV fully charged up than try to use that to power the home. And I said, that makes sense. And our current EV charger today is a smart EV charger. It'll do two things for you. One, it'll charge your car only from green energy when you need it, right? Oh, in other words, you want to save money.
Sure.
But during an event, during a hurricane, right, 3 days before, the National Weather Service typically would issue a warning saying there's a hurricane coming.
They're not flipping a coin.
Yeah,
it's coming.
They know it's coming.
Warning, I think, is real.
And then what you mentioned earlier about the Storm Guard is exactly that. The Storm Guard feature in our app detects, I've got a warning from the National Weather Service. I'm going to top up the batteries. I'm going to top up the EV. And I'm going to make sure the homeowner is prepared for any eventuality. That's the beauty of the Storm Guard.
You guys care.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want the homeowner to be fully prepared. And that exists today. It's not a future product. It exists today. The EV chargers that we sell today have that feature enabled.
Now, we've covered a good amount of features. And honestly, you guys want to bring up some more because this is almost making me want to lose like my entire Google suite. Almost to just go all Enphase, and like I'm walking in my house and I'm seeing Enphase just like in my face. The IQ is really standing out. Like I'm like on my ID4, literally like it just they really make it known that everything lights up, and this is kind of what I'm thinking about. And I'm almost sold. Okay, all right, I'm sold. But with that said, take a step from the homeowners just for a second, okay, into commercial land. How does Enphase approach the commercial division or the businesses? I mean, we do have a project going on, okay, so I'm not fluffing that. Like, I definitely want to talk about it, but what is Enphase's take on commercial?
Yeah, I think there's tremendous opportunity for commercial. We deal with the market which is called a small commercial, which is about 50 kilowatts to 500 to maybe 1 megawatt systems.
Sure.
And these are your dentist offices,
there we go.
Churches, gas stations. And all of them want to go green, right? There's just a tremendous community out there who wants to go to green energy and who would like their businesses to be green. So we've got commercial microinverters. We already have them. They're in full production. And we're coming up with better and better microinverters, higher wattage, smarter, doing three-phase, 480 volts is coming up next year. So we're just going to keep building on that market. We think there's a lot of good opportunity in commercial.
Well, Green Brilliant says too. If Nishant was here, head of our commercial division, I would literally just pull him right up the set and stick him right in the middle and start talking about the project. And what are we doing together?
So, you want to take that or?
In regards to
commercial,
we've got 180 kilo.
I think that sounds about right. Yeah. I mean the 2-way 3-phase microinverter for small commercial. So just for those who may not understand the difference between kind of the different services. A lot of times businesses, because they're, much larger facilities,
Sure.
operate on kind of a different electrical service than, say, a homeowner. So that requires us to have a different type of microinverter for most small commercial projects. So, and we call that 3-phase. And so that commercial inverter is a new product. And so I believe the one that you're talking about, it's your first time delving into that,
Correct.
to that product line. And, look, I think the value proposition from a business owner and a homeowner are really very similar.
Nice.
It's, business owners are looking for a high quality product. Our microinverters have a 25-year warranty. So that resonates with the homeowner, but it resonates just as much, and in some cases even more to a business owner who wants that assurance that product is the best that money can buy and of the highest quality. And so I think that from a business owner perspective, resonates the most. The no single point of failure, it also resonates, just as much as a homeowner, because if there is an issue, you have one microinverter out of 100 or 200, that there's a problem, your production's not going to go, right down to zero like it would, with a lot of the other,
an inverter
commercial products, out there. And so, and then, similarly, if there is a problem, or, if the business owner, is really, wants to monitor very closely the production of their system, they can go in our app and they can look at every single panel and see what it's doing. So if there is a problem, very easy to pinpoint. I mean, imagine some of these commercial projects are on, on roofs of these big box stores. So if there is a problem, you want to be able to pinpoint it so that you can go address it very, very quickly, right? Whereas if you don't have that insight into your system, you're going up on the roof of a box store.
Exactly. For the best.
Exactly right. So, I don't really look at our value prop as changing much from homeowner to small business. And I think what's really neat about the commercial product is what our installer partners are able to do when they get into commercial is leverage their homeowner base, because, we'll use you all for an example. You all probably have hundreds, if not thousands of clients who you are doing, who you've done projects with on their homes, who are also small business owners. So they've seen the impact that, the system has, and like, well, shoot, I want to put this on my, I'm a dentist. I want to put it on my office, or I run a bank. I want to put it on my bank, or I own, 20 gas stations and I want to put them on my gas stations. And so, and they already understand all of this.
Sure. It's amazing. So, look, this is rhetorical, okay? And we're just going to keep this short and sweet. Does the inverter matter? More so, does the inverter company matter? Yeah, it truly does. So all your homeowners out there thinking about going solar, we hope we have provided some insight. Thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks for making the trip, sincerely. How are your Hurricanes doing this year? They're doing pretty well. Yeah, I watch hockey. I know we haven't talked about the hockey yet.
Yeah.
You Rangers Stanley Cup this year. It's been 30 years. I had to get that in. Nitesh, pleasure. Thank you both for making a difference to the solar community. Adam J live. And it's sunny outside now. Look at that. Coming to you, sending off from downtown Herndon, Green Brilliant Studios.